Hello, CountSacke here, back with another Minecraft Redstone video. Today, I will be bringing you the world's smallest under-over door. If you don't know what an under-over door is, I'm actually a little surprised because this is something that was originally made by Mumbo Jumbo. Rather than explaining it myself, I think I'll let the door do its own demonstration. So, what I'm going to do is walk up straight to this block right here, right in front of the door. Then I'm going to press this button. As you can see, I go under and I go over to the other side. So if I actually want to go back to the other side, unfortunately I just have to really only just have to go through the door the normal way. So this only makes it a one-way under-over door. I would like to note something is that this actually comes with a fail-safe. If you end up getting trapped down here, which it is possible to do so, like by entering late, you can actually get stuck down here. If you do so happen to get stuck down here, you can actually press this button here and then just walk up here and you'll be out. So the dimensions are 4 wide by 5 long by 5 tall, giving it exactly 100 blocks. I believe the previous record is 120 blocks. So looking at the redstone, there's actually not too much to be seen here. If I actually press the button here, let me do that again. Come on, press the button. Yeah, there's nothing too much to this. I think it's about time we go to the tutorial. So these are the items that you will be needing. For the smooth quartz blocks, these will be your floor or wall, whatever it is. These purple wool are your wiring blocks. Then the obsidian here, this is anything that is an unmovable block. I would recommend using furnaces for this, as they are a solid, unmovable block. Technically, this note block can be a hopper. Anyway, with that, let's actually get into the wiring. I actually misspoke. I actually meant to say let's get into the setup. But yeah, something I would like to note is that this is going to be the door relative to your redstone. I would note that in the direction I am facing, this, or the larger area, the longer side, is actually the part where you enter and get pushed. So that is something to note, as you can see here. So for the ground, I'm just going to place these 2 blocks. This is the block that you will be standing on, then you will fall under. So that's something I want you to take note of. For the setup, I'm going to place a sticky piston right there with a sticky piston facing upward like that. Yeah, you can see. Then we're going to just pretty much copy that exactly a block over right there on the opposite side, not there. There we go. Then to actually launch the player across, what we need is a sticky piston here with a slime block diagonal to that sticky piston. So yeah, it should be directly right there. Then to launch the player up, we need a sticky piston here with a slime block facing directly upward. Now, because this slime block goes up into this position, we actually need to push this sticky piston back into place, and in order to do that, we place a normal piston right there. And the same story with this one, but instead of being facing upward, we're going to place it right there. And that is the entire setup. For your wiring, what we're going to do is first I'm going to actually build out a bit of the door right here. This is 4 blocks over, and we're going to place a stone button. It can actually be a wooden button if I'm not mistaken. From there, this is actually literally your input. So on the block directly below this one, so yeah, it's right here, we're going to place a sticky piston facing downward with a observer facing in that direction. Then what we're going to want to do now is place a block right there with another block directly in that direction as well, with a 1-tick repeater facing in the same direction. So this observer must go into that one. Now what we're going to want to do is to get a slab, half slab, I like to say half slab. You place a slab right there with a redstone dust right there. Don't do anything with it, just leave it alone. Then what we're going to want to do, place another block with a redstone repeater on 4 ticks off to the side. So yeah. Then on that, we're going to place an observer facing in that direction. So it has its detecting side on this 4-tick repeater. This will then go up into a solid block, then down. Then we're going to place a sticky piston right there with an observer facing right that. And I completely forgot to place the obsidian or your unmovable block of choice. I recommend using a furnace for this, as they are cheaper than obsidian. So you can put those obsidian unmovable block down, then place a redstone dust directly in front of that observer. Believe it or not, this is the entire flush circuit, but we forgot one thing. This sticky piston is getting butted, but we have no way of updating it. Well, the easiest way to do that is to just literally place an observer clock like this. Then we can actually activate it, and as you can see, we already have the flush mechanism. Something I would like to note is that for some odd reason there's a visual bug. Yeah, you can see that this is the exact circuit just for the flush part. So if you don't see this, then there's something wrong. All right, now what we need to do is to actually launch the player across, and to do that, we actually need to power this guy here. And yeah, to do that, what I'm going to do is to place an observer facing directly downward right next to this redstone dust with a 2-tick repeater on top. Then we have to place another one directly under it. Sorry if that might be a little awkward for you guys to place, but yeah. Then what we have to do now is to take an observer going off to the side, 2 of them actually. Then we're going to go over in this direction. Actually, hold on a second. I might trap myself if I'm not careful. We're going to go over here, place an observer right there, then go off over here and place an observer right there. Then right on top of this observer, see where I am relative to the blocks and repeater. We're going to place 2 observers going upward, then a redstone dust right there, then an observer facing directly downward right next to this normal piston, and a 4-tick repeater right on top of it. Now to actually power this guy over here, we're going to use a sticky piston with a redstone block on its face. Now what we need to do is to actually launch the player upward, and what we can do is to take a pulse directly from this redstone block right here. We're going to place a note block with a redstone dust on top, then an observer facing in that direction. Then we're going to do is place an observer facing into this block. Oh, we're going to go over here, place a sticky piston with a redstone block right there. And as you can see, we already have our circuit right there. Now, the last thing that we need to do is actually refire the flush part, the flush circuit. And luckily, we just have a little bit of tiny space right here to do so. And well, what we can do is just place an observer right on this normal piston, 2 blocks, then redstone dust, and lastly a 1-tick repeater going into this block. Hold on a second, I just realized I forgot one last thing. What we need to do now is to actually, you might notice that this redstone dust is facing directly into this sticky piston, and that's a problem. Luckily, this can be easily fixed. All we need to do is we're going to place an unmovable block, because there's a slime block there, with a tripwire hook right on that block. This redirects the redstone so that it's no longer powering this sticky piston and the one below it actually even. So yeah, with that, if we were to test this, so as you can see, we go under, and we go over. Simple as that. And yeah, everything looks good. So you can test yours out now, and hopefully it works. If you want to build the failsafe, there are a few things I can recommend. There's actually one thing I can recommend. So for the block directly under the door, I'm gonna take out. Whoops, not that one. We're gonna if you want to add the failsafe, remove that block and replace it with a slab, or alternatively, you could use some stairs. For the stairs, you have to make sure that this empty space is in like this. It's exactly like this. Then you want to place a stone button on the top. You could put it on the side, but I think it's a lot easier if you just put it right there. The reason is because if I was to place a block right here, you would actually be able to back up and press the button at your own leisure. To inform you of where you need to place your unmovable blocks, you actually need one right there, here, and there. Those are the only spots where you need unmovable blocks. If you have blocks like right here, I would recommend you remove them so that way these things don't, you have to remove them. Otherwise this sticky piston or these slime blocks are going to be stuck. So leave this block here as air, this one too, and this one as well. You can pretty much fill up the rest with your block of choice, and you should be able to this should be able to work completely fine. And well, yeah, I also forgot this spot. So yeah, everything should work now. I'll go ahead and test the failsafe. So if I get stuck here, I can press this button, you get sent out, and you can go right out. Yeah, everything's here and whatnot. That's it for the tutorial section, but if you want an explanation of how this works, I will be getting into that now. Alright, so I've made a little mock-up of the flush part. This is actually rather simple. What happens here is that this 4-tick repeater will receive a 1-tick pulse from an observer, and this turns on, which this observer detects, sends a pulse, this observer detects that, and sends a pulse. Then all at the same exact time, these 4 sticky pistons extend. And as you can see, by doing that, we end up retracting. But because it's a 4-tick repeater, there's enough delay that this observer will detect it turning off. So when it turns off, this observer sends another pulse, again sends a pulse, then we essentially get the same exact thing. Whoops, not that. There we go. Whoops. We retract that, and last but not least, that is the entire flush part. You might notice though, this redstone wire here is actually, it's specifically, if you power it, it will not be able to power the sticky pistons beside it. But remember, when you push it down, this is now put into facing all directions. So when another pulse is sent to this, we extend, 1-tick pulse, and again, extend. And as you can see, facing all directions, so now both of these sticky pistons can be powered. And then again, we go through the same motion, retract, 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 all at the same exact time. So if I was to power this, you could see everything happen in motion. This circuit was honestly really detrimental for the success of this door. If I didn't figure this out, I probably would not have been able to complete this door. As for everything else, they should be pretty self-explanatory. It's just a bunch of clever thinking with how the observers should go around. A lot of this is just to add delay for the player to fall. Then this one I've already explained. When you power this, the redstone block moves over, and this slime block the sticky piston is able to extend, pushing the player over across. But when this redstone block is retracted, this slime block will retract, the sticky piston will retract. But now that this redstone block is here, it is now powering this normal piston, and then that will push this sticky piston back into place. And the same story goes for this one, except it's in the vertical direction. This was something I found from the previous record. It was such of use to me because it actually simply hit two birds with one stone. You don't need to worry about finding a way to power this thing like in another way. It's all just here. That's the amazing part, and I thank the previous record person for that. And with that, I think we're done with the explanation, so that's really about it for now. So thanks for watching and hope you've enjoyed.